going to bring up Albert with BeToken here in a second, and looking forward to the convo. Albert, GM, welcome to the stage. Welcome to Coffee with Captain. Before we jump into all things BeToken, I'm curious. I know you got to hear a little bit of that gaming conversation. Any thoughts, comments, anything you wanted to add to that before we jump into all things BeToken this morning?
Hello, nice to meet you. Really happy to stay here. I think that it's true that nowadays there are a lot of people talking that everything is possible to tokenize, and but I think that it's very important to check it and think what do you want to tokenize and why. Because if you cannot create any value or give any profit to the investors, maybe the people don't want to buy these tokens.
Yeah, and perfect segue into BeToken for when you talk about giving value to investors, doing exactly that. Before we jump into all that you're doing with BeToken, could you mind giving us a little bit of background on yourself and maybe whether you want to talk about what led you to BeToken, or even more so, I'm curious, with all that you've done, feel free to share anything you'd like on your background and Beself Brands, and then what led you to onchain, what led you to crypto and Web3.
Yeah, of course. I'm Albert Prat. I'm the founder from Beself Brands. Beself Brands is an e-commerce that I set up in 2008, long time ago. I started to buy online in 2003, a really long time ago, 22 years ago. And this is the reason why at the end I create an e-commerce company. Nowadays, we have 5 different brands. One of them is Greencat. It's power tools and tools for the garden, like chainsaws, brush cutters, lawnmowers. Another brand is FitFuel Fitness. It's home user fitness, like treadmills, spinning bikes, all these kind of items. The third brand is MacHouse. It's furniture for home. And the last 2 brands are Bilum and Playking, are toys for children. And I start to check or to invest in Web3, in blockchain projects in maybe around 8 years ago. And at the end, I saw many projects that they didn't do anything. They only made a good marketing, but at the end they disappear. But during all this time, and I lose some money in some of them because I invested. And one of the things that I like a lot from the Web3 world of blockchain is the community that can create if you make it great job, I think. And this is the reason why I start to think to tokenize all the equity from the company. I start to thinking about it in 2020, but there weren't any regulation. And for me, this is quite important. Why? Because the regulation it's a quite hard filter that you can use like a guarantee to the investors, because nowadays we are the first company in Europe that we tokenize all the equity from the company, and we are regulated under the CNMV, and was crazy hard to do it. The regulator are really strict, but I think that it's really good. Why? Because if you have the approval from the regulator, you have big guarantees. The regulator approved us. Why? Because we are a company that we set up in 2008, 17 years ago. Our company is audited from 10 or 12 years ago. We are selling more than 20 millions per year. And it's quite hard or quite big company. This is the reason why the regulator give us the approval.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think that the blockchain it's a really good way, and it's the future, maybe the present for the companies and the people that want to invest. Why? Because it's transparent. It's much more efficient than the normal mm, the normal stock market. When you want to invest in any company, you need to wait maybe 2 or 3 days for the company to receive the money. And when you want to recuperate the investment, you need to wait at least 3 days. If you use blockchain, it's immediately, less than 2 seconds.
Very, very cool. Excited to dive into this greater. And if you just, I got to put up on screen here those brands you mentioned: Green Cut, Fitview. I may be pronouncing that incorrectly. McHouse, Beloom, and Plaken. Five brands in the ecosystem. You can see 16 years, 10 years, 6 years, 8 years, 8 years. You mentioned you've worked with the regulators. You've got this to where you're able to launch in a compliant manner. You're based in Spain. You mentioned Europe. Is this? We'll talk about the sale here in a minute. Is this eligible for anyone throughout Europe? Is it just Spain? Help us understand, like, who is able to participate in this today.
Yeah, we have the warehouse, big warehouse, 50,000 square meters in Tarragona, very close to Barcelona, and we are selling in all Europe through different marketplaces like eBay, Amazon, Cdiscount, Leroy Merlin, Decathlon. It's depending from the brand and the country.
So what? I guess like a lot of work goes into this. I mean, at any point, let alone when you're innovating and doing things differently and working with these regulators to be one of the first to do this, if not the first. Why go this route? What motivated you to tokenize the entire equity of Beself Brands as opposed to going the more traditional route, whether it be an IPO or other vehicles? What motivated you to go the tokenization route here?
Yeah, it's because you can check at the moment since now. There were three ways. One, you can go to the banks and ask for a credit, but the banks are really limited. You can find venture capital, but the venture capital, when coming in a company, they want uh, they want to sell in maybe 4 or 5 years, maximum 6. And some of the times, I don't know if I did correct, the venture capital must be that the founders sell it to the project, the company. And this is not my idea. And this, or you can put the company in the normal stock market, but it's really expensive. If you want to put the company in the stock market, the total annual cost is more than 600,000 euros per year. And if you want to put the company in a market using blockchain technology, the cost is reduced around 90%.
Phew.
Yeah, it's true that I had to pay a big cost for pass all the regulations, but this is the cost for only one time, only for the initial time. I spent around 100,000 euros for pass all the legal regulations, but after that, all the transactions are directly between the company and the investors. You don't need any bank, or you don't need brokers, and all these things reduce a lot all the costs.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the community early on. Did that play a role in like going this route as well? Because while it's early, I have to imagine too that and I know, like, sure, some public companies can get like a cult following. You might think of like Apple or Tesla or some of these that have built really rabid fan bases that also become brand ambassadors relatively quickly. I don't think that's the norm. Whereas in crypto and in on-chain communities, I do think it's the norm. How much of a role did the community element play in this path forward?
Yeah, I think that the companies that have a great community have that they increase the sales much more faster. Like Apple have a big community, and the people that use Apple, they only want to buy the new one and a new one and always Apple. But the community don't have anything from Apple. In this case, if you can tokenize the company and you have a community and they invest, they will have profit like you. They have more things if they invest, not only your items. In our case, we have more than 200,000 followers in Instagram and some other uh, places. And nowadays, all these people can invest in our company if they want. Why? Because the investment ticket is not so big. It's the people can invest only 100 euros. Why they can invest 100 euros? Because the cost is really cheap for put the company in the market using blockchain.
Very cool. So low ticket, you can get it. They can invest for as little as 100 euros. What comes with that? Let's just jump into why would someone be interested if they're hearing about BeToken or Beself Brands for the first time today. The fact that it is tied into real businesses, multiple, not just one, but a family of 5 brands that already have real customers. They've been in business for many years, some over a decade. You want to get through a couple of these other things, like not just the dividends, but I know we've just connected here recently, thanks to our friends over at Reach Network. This just the concept of loyalty rewards on chain and next generation loyalty rewards and what this might unlock. I've been a proponent, a fan of for quite some time. We talked yesterday about the rec drinks. I'm not sure if you're familiar with rec brands, but they had another drink drop sell out yesterday. Part of the reason is they've incorporated on-chain loyalty and token rewards for those purchasers. So you mind kind of hitting through? I don't know if you can see the screen share pulled up here, not just the real business, but talk about these dividends a little bit. And then I am really curious to see what your vision is, or hear about your vision around what makes the BeToken different from traditional loyalty programs or typical Web3 tokens, and how you see that unfolding.
Yeah, the first and the biggest difference is BeToken are directly the shares from Beself Brands, from the company. Nowadays, the shares from the company are digital, are BeTokens, and all the people that invest, that have BeTokens, are owners from the company, and they will have dividends. They will participate in all the strategic decisions from the company. And for example, for the first year, we guarantee the first 10% profit for them, for the new investors. Why? Because we want that have enough time for share with all of them all the results that we will have in less than 1 year.
Very interesting. And you're able to do that because, again, existing brands, established businesses, existing revenue. It's not like, hey, we hope to generate $49 million this year. You've got existing businesses doing these lines of business already. I should have disclaimer early. This, Beself and Albert here, based in Spain, talking Europe. As with anything on this show, never any financial advice. Do your own research, both on the company as well as where you're located. As far as are you able to participate? Are you eligible? I'm excited. I'm hopeful and optimistic that this becomes the norm in all regions and all regulated governing authorities in the future. I think we've seen this kind of a second wave of ICOs, and I know there's some teams making some changes and attempting to do some things differently there. For all the reasons you mentioned, I do think this could very well be, maybe it's not the right path for all brands and businesses, but certainly for some, and for all these reasons, not just the lower cost, but the ability to work more directly with your supporters, your users, to kind of reduce some of the friction. And it doesn't come easy, though. There is, the regulatory stuff that you've already solved for and figured out. Let me ask you this, though. What do you think? Like, how does this, if it does, maybe I'm speculating here, but how do you think BeToken helps you move forward, fast forward 6 months, a year? How do you think this helps? Maybe not a moat is the right word, but provide a competitive advantage over other e-commerce platforms, especially those not coming on chain, not building in this manner. Do you feel it gives you an advantage there? And if so, what sort of edge when you're talking about other more traditional e-commerce companies?
Yeah, I think that we have 17 years. Our company is quite old, and I think that we have a great experience. And one of the biggest things is that we cannot cover the demand, the actual demand that we have from our customers. For example, nowadays we can cover around 5 to 6 months the total annual demand that we have, and it's really easy to check it because the people can use the public apps like Keepa in Amazon, and with Keepa you can check the stock that have any brand or any item, and an external company made an analysis, and they check it using Keepa, and they saw it really well that we can cover only 5 or 6 months the annual demand. If we can cover the 12 months, our sales increase around 80 or 85% in less than 1 year. And this is our first goal. Our first goal is have enough stock for cover the actual demand. And the next goal will be to push ourselves in the biggest European market, that it's Germany. Germany, it's 5 times biggest than Spain. It's 3 times biggest than France. Actually, or my market, it's France. It's not Spain. We are a Spanish company, but Spanish is not our main market.
Okay, interesting. I do have Oxy on stage here. I'm going to ask a question he asked in the chat, and then if after you answer, Oxy, if you want to get in here with any follow-ups, feel free to do so. I'm sure Albert would be glad to answer. This is something that, just to give you the background, Oxy's talked about many times. He's been very bearish tokens that come from companies that, because there's no equity, there isn't things. And I hope you don't mind me sharing, Oxy, but he adds, it actually really seems like a really interesting idea for tokenized equity. I wish you could understand how they structured it. There's also, I guess, as follow-up question to that is, I do see it's a fully regulated product under the CNMV. Can you, I guess, first maybe answer that? That is the Spanish regulatory, I guess, organization. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's the commercial power. It's the same regulation that have to pass a company that want to put the shares in a stock market. It's exactly the same regulation. It's European regulation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Google tells me Spain's National Securities Market Commissions. Yeah. So do you mind, to Oxy's point there, Oxy's question, do you mind explaining how like kind of the structure there, and what is this? Great in concept, great in theory. We're moving towards more opportunities for fans, supporters to become investors and support these growing businesses. Can you speak a little bit to the structure and I guess more specifically, what's that mean for a token holder? What utility or what access? I think in past you mentioned even like governance or voting rights. Is this? I mean, is it? I don't want to downplay it, but is it the same or very similar to shares in a company, shares of a publicly traded company?
It's exactly the same. BeToken are directly the shares from the company. Nowadays, the document from the company tells that our shares are digital shares represented by security tokens. And nowadays, our shares are digital, are BeTokens, and are limited. In total, we have 18 million shares, and we will block 15 million because we want to protect the investors. We don't want that the price from the share will go down when we will add in the market. We want to add in the public market in some exchange at the end of June, and we want to protect the investors. Why? Because we invest in many projects and we saw all the bad things that they made it. And the first thing is they put all the tokens on the market when they add in the public market, and the price went down. And this is the first thing that I want to protect. The second thing is this protection is during the next 4 years. We block it. It's not possible to sell any other BeToken. There will be in total 3 million BeTokens on the market. Another protection is we will create our own liquidity pool with €500,000 and 200,000 BeTokens. Why? Because it's true that the blockchain is really efficient, but if don't have liquidity in the market, the investors cannot sell. This is the reason why we want to create a liquidity pool, and all these things are in all the documents, public documents. Have all these documents have it by the regulator, have it, and all these documents are audited. We cannot change it.
Yeah, very important. I know for a while early on, especially like in the meme world, people would look at like, oh, the team controls too much supply, too much of the token. That's a negative. That's a red flag. The reality is, if you're building a real business, it benefits not only the company but the holders as well. Especially, I should say, the supporters, those that are really along for the ride and they want to see this thing grow and they want to see, they're not in it just for a quick flip. I do think token supply control and a lot of that being held back by the company is very important. Are there plans to, with the supply that the company's going to hold, is there plans like is that being locked up for any period of time, or what are the plans with that? Is it, do you plan to buy back more token, or can you speak to more like the Beself Brands and BeTokens? What are your plans for the token, what that you're holding at launch, as well as, again, any token buybacks, or what's the future look like as far as it relates to how Beself Brands is going to be treating the token?
Yeah, of course. In the market will be only 3 million BeTokens are limited, and we want to add in the public market at the end of June. And we don't want that the investors block the security tokens. We want that the investors stay because we have a good results with the investment that we have. This is the reason why we will give 10% profit, guaranteed profit, to the people that stay the first year, because in this way we will have enough time for share all the results, audited results, to all the investors. If you can show to the investors that your business growing like you tells, they will want to stay. They don't want to sell. I think that it's important that the people stay or buy something, but because they want, not force it.
Totally get it. Oxy, not to put you on the spot, but any hope I answered your question. Any follow-up questions or anything anything else you want to ask him, Albert, since we got you on stage? I know this is a topic near and dear to your heart.
It is. It's definitely a topic near and dear to my heart. No, I appreciate the response. And so I guess something that I'm curious about is like you're obviously talking about liquidity pools in allowing for investors or people that hold the tokens to have a way to swap or get cash out if they need to. So I guess my question to you is, like, how liquid can it actually be when there's KYC parameters that you need to worry about, or equity stakes in these companies, right? So if you're looking at a publicly traded company, you typically trade through like a brokerage account, whether it's Fidelity or something else, and you've had to go through that entire KYC process and all that kind of a thing. So when I go and I want to sell my NVIDIA, even though that is equity stake in the company, they don't have to worry about doing the whole KYC process and all of that kind of a thing. So I'm curious, and maybe this maybe this is a little bit tough to get a handle on, but for a blockchain and a token-based equity model, is it really challenging to allow people to have liquid investments with equity like this? Like if I'm swapping, this token to ETH or to something else, and then someone else picks it up from the liquidity pool, and you have to go the process again. So is that difficult? Is that challenging to balance the two there?
I'm not sure if you cut all that, Albert. Oxy was cutting in and out a little bit, but did you catch the question?
I'm not sure about that. I try to.
Yeah, I'll try to summarize. Basically, like, how are you because Meyer's saying KYC is required for the initial sale, right? If someone wants to get in, they did KYC to be compliant. How then do you balance that after the fact if someone's swapping the token for say ETH on Uniswap, or is it restricted where the token can trade? How does it work? I guess secondary after the initial sale. How do you balance KYC and being fully compliant with someone who might buy this on the secondary from at a DEX like Uniswap?
Yeah, so at the moment, at the beginning, it's quite restricted because we are regulated by the CNMV, and our platform is audited by them, and have to create the wallets, and you must be past the KYC before make an investment. And it's important that the exchange have the MiFID II license. At the moment, Kraken have it, OKX have it, and B2B from Spain will have it really soon, in less than 2 months. And this is quite good because all these exchanges, when you come in or when you register, you will have to pass the KYC, and all the people that use those exchanges we have the KYC, and in this way, all the people can swap or can sell and buy the security tokens.
Very good. So Kraken, you mentioned B2B in Spain. What was the other one? I missed the other one.
OKX.
OKX. Okay. Got it. Yep.
I really have it, but I think that the exchange that they want to create the stock market for the security tokens in Europe will be B2B. There are some of them in Germany that they already have the MiFID II, but are not really big exchange. And my idea is add BeToken in exchange quite big. I want that they have at least 5 million users, because if not, they will be difficult that the BeToken have a good liquidity.
Makes sense. Oxy, does that help? Any follow-up?
No, that was great. Thanks for the response.
Yeah, appreciate the response and appreciate you taking a shot here. This is a big swing and a certainly doing things differently. I am optimistic that we see not just other companies in Spain adopt this and take this to market. I'd love to see this in the US. I'd love to see this throughout Europe. I'd love to see this in Canada and any fill in the blank, name the region. The reality is not everyone can qualify to become an accredited investor. Not everyone is IPOs can make sense for large companies that are growing $100 million, $1 billion brands. I think and not saying that $50 million a year is a small business, but for those that are not going to go public the traditional route, I would love a way to be able to participate. That's not just a friends and family round. That's not just a some of the investment vehicles we see today. I'd love to see more opportunity to participate on chain. And so I do appreciate you doing things differently and pushing this forward. I'm hoping others follow suit. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think other governing, whether again the one in Spain that we're referencing here is CNMV, do you see other regulatory governing bodies following suit here? Do you think how soon, I guess, should I say, do you see other regions allowing similar token sales like this?
Yeah, I'm sure that in 2026, this year, will appear many companies in the market that will do it. I know that last year the regulator didn't approve some companies. I think that because they don't have enough, or maybe they don't pass the audits because the regulator made a really strict audits from the company.
I'm curious on those audits. How much of that are they auditing just purely your financial documents, your financials, or are they actually auditing like the smart contract and the token? When you say these audits, how deep and on what is it? Just the financial statements and the traditional financials, or is it the smart contract, or both?
No. The regulator made a really deep audit. They want to check all the results from your. I think that was the last 5 years, and they check the value from the security token. They want that the value from the security token, it's the value from your company.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they made a really strict and really deep audit.
Good. I mean, and I guess as they should, right? It's especially when it's, I mean, not just when it's new, but they should be taking this stuff seriously, doing these deep audits. Like if not, if they go, the shortcut, it's likely to sooner or later someone's going to take advantage of that and give this opportunity likely a bad taste or a bad reputation. But doing things the right way, doing these deep audits and ensuring compliance is I think the only way to go forward, at least as things are early. A couple more questions. I appreciate your time today. I know we're keeping you a little longer than initially planned, but I do appreciate your willingness to jump on, answer all these questions. Again, shout out to our friends over at Reach for setting this one up. What are you like right now for those that are tuning in? Obviously, you've got the token sale going on. That is, again, BeToken.io. Also, the official account. There's two of them pinned up top. There is BeToken _IO, which is the original account. That's primarily going to be Spanish speaking, and then BeToken _global for our English speaking audience fans. As you mentioned, the allocation is just under 3 million tokens. Minimum entry is $100. Tokenized real shares, ownership in 5 proven e-commerce brands, regulated under MIFID 2 and Law 6/2023, and supervised by an authorized ESI. No single party can change or falsify the ownership. This is regulated STO built on real revenue, real brands, and real long-term ownership. That gets me excited. Early owners are securing their place in Europe's first fully tokenized company. Very exciting. What is your, other than, hey, go support us, go buy the token if you're interested. What else? What is your ask? Other than that, are you outside of the token sale? Are you raising? Are you hiring? Are you looking for partners? If someone's listening in, they got excited about this from whether conceptually or really excited about your family of brands, where else might they be able to participate, or what are you looking for?
Yeah, our first goal is create a community, and our second goal is make a capital increase for push our growth, because it's really hard for me, or it's a headache that we cannot cover the annual sales. It's, I don't know how do we explain this feeling.
Got it. So the community side, where do you have a Discord or a Telegram? If they wanted to join the conversation, if they had follow-up questions, is it your X account? What's the best place for those that are interested in jumping in that community? Where should they go, or what should they look for after the show today?
Yeah, I think that the best place is Telegram.
Okay.
And the reason why we want to create a great community is, for example, if you want to develop a new item and you have feedbacks from your customers that they invest in the company, well, maybe you will create a really good items.
How much of your, and I mean, maybe too early to tell for sure, but how much do you expect the token buyers, the pre-sale participants, how much of that do you expect to come from your existing fan base, your existing customer base, versus how much do you expect to come from, the crypto natives? I'm guessing it's like early on will be a lot of crypto natives, but I'm curious, and you're like, what do you think will happen, and then what's your ideal outcome, just specific to the token presale? If you were to put a percentage on it, how much of that do you think will come from your existing, we'll say Web 2 or existing customer base, existing fan base, compared to the crypto natives who are hearing about BeToken from, like, whether on this show or other, on X or other, other media outlets?
I think that 80% from the investment at the moment comes from people that comes from Web 2. But when I create, but when I create, I thought that 90% from the investors comes from Web 3. Why?
Mhm.
Because we create all this BeToken, and we convert all the equity from the company in security tokens, because I invested in Web3 during long time, and I'm maybe not very, but a little, maybe very. I'm very tired to see many projects. 99% from the projects that I saw at the end disappeared, and was a scam, or maybe I don't know, but and I'm really frustrated. And this is the reason that we created. And when we create, we thought, maybe a lot of people from Web3 will invest, because it's a real company, it's a project. And this is the reason why I tokenized my company, the shares from my company, because the people, the lawyers, when I start to check it, they told me, oh yeah, you can go to Switzerland and you can make it in less than 3 days. No, I want to tokenize my company. Yes, but it's really strict, because the regulator in Spain is really hard to pass. Yeah, but I want to make it. Why? Because if anyone want to check my company have 17 years ago, all the people can check our brands in Amazon, in eBay, in many marketplaces, and it's really easy to check if it's a real company or not. If you create a new company, the people can think that it's a scam.
Yeah, no, I again appreciate you doing it the right way, and I too would have expected the same. I would have expected like 80-90% crypto natives, Web3. I think it's exciting that a lot of your existing, I mean, it speaks to the power of your brands, right? If you got a customer base that is not crypto native and yet they want to participate in this, I think that's a really good indicator of, that support. And I'm guessing those are also people who they're probably not looking for some sort of quick flip in days or weeks or a month. Rather, they see this as an opportunity to be a part of, to own, tokens and by proxy equity in this family of brands. That's they like their products. They're active customers or active users, and I do think this really will play into loyalty and goodwill and brand awareness as we move forward. I'm rooting for not just Beself and BeToken. I'm rooting for any other businesses and brands that to go forward with this approach. I think it really is a new vehicle that I'm hopeful and optimistic that more regulatory environments, more government agencies decide to get behind and support and help push forward. But we don't get here if not for leaders like yourself taking some big swings and doing things differently. So on behalf of all of us, appreciate you doing hard things and doing things differently and allowing your fans and supporters to be along for the ride. And best case scenario, fast forward another decade or another 16 years, they can look back like, wow, I was, not only was I a customer, but not only did I get like a loyalty program or some points that I could go redeem for other product, but actually be able to participate in the upside of the business that you're building is exciting for me as a lifelong entrepreneur. I do genuinely hope we see more and more of this. And I guess that said,
and this is the officer from the company. This is a
nice.
real company.
I love it. Beautiful. Where you're in Spain now? Is that right? Where? What city? Where is?
in in Tarragona. It's 40 minutes from Barcelona.
Okay.
And this is the entrance from the
Oh wow.
company.
Gotta have a slide. I love that. Someday I'll drop a video in the. I don't know if you're familiar with OtterBox, the phone case company.
Yeah, it's.
Are you familiar with OtterBox, the phone cases?
Yeah.
So they have your office reminds me of theirs. They've got a really cool modern office in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's the only time I've been down a slide at a corporate office was the OtterBox headquarters. But your facility reminds me a lot of theirs. Love to see it. Appreciate the ad hoc tour. Albert, is there anything I haven't asked you this morning? Anything that you were hoping to share with our audience, or hoping to get out there and make people aware of, whether it be about Beself Brands or the BeToken, or anything we haven't asked that you were hoping to share today?
No, I think that I'm sure that it's the present or the future that all the people start to invest in security tokens because more safety, or I don't know, that invest in tokens that don't have anything. And if anyone have any question or anything else, they can contact to me directly by LinkedIn or by Telegram. It's really easy to find me.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Where's the best place to find the link to Telegram? Is that on one of the X accounts, or where can we send people if they want to jump in Telegram and ask more questions or get more information?
If they want to ask me directly, they can find me in LinkedIn or maybe in Telegram because I'm inside the community, and if any people have any question, I reply it, of course.
Awesome. Appreciate that. I will say X is having issues, Twitter outages. Just the thing spiked up. I've seen a lot of people in the forum say X crashed on them. They can't get back in. So appreciate everyone powering through. Appreciate those that moved over to video this morning. Apologies for the I don't know what's going on with X, but we couldn't get out of the co-host seat. And apparently Zane just shared the actual outages are spiking something like 25,000 in the last hour here. People have notated that Twitter or X is down. So if you got choppy, or I guess you probably can't hear if you're on X trying to figure it out, I would say head over to YouTube. The replay will be live. The podcast goes live this afternoon as well. And you can always find those recordings. YouTube has become the most reliable source of our live show. I don't think it's went down once on us, Payne. We'll chat about that after the show maybe. But appreciate everyone powering through. Apologies for the issues with X this morning. Some of that stuff outside of our control, but really enjoyed the conversation, Albert. I am, like I said, rooting for you, and truly, we're very fortunate on the show. Often we do have founders and CEOs and presidents that we talk about. They're pushing the space forward, and this is one where it's not lost on me that we opened the show today talking about a former mayor of New York City rugging a meme coin, not doing any good and debatable, doing harm to the industry and giving it more of a poor reputation. I do think it's this sort of stuff of business leaders doing things the right way, working with regulators, in helping forge ahead, quite literally push the space forward and make new vehicles for opportunities for your fans, your supporters to participate and be along for the ride, creating win-win type scenarios without having to look at traditional IPOs and or accredited investor routes. So really appreciate what you're doing from just a high level industry standpoint. We need to see more of this, in my opinion. I would love to see more of this. Not even kidding. Oxy has been often very critical of companies that tease tokens or launch tokens when they have shares, or it's like, what does this brand coin do for me? Because there's no equity, there's nothing tied to it, there's no dividend, there's like, why would I hold this thing? And you're answering those questions, and again, doing things the hard way. It's never easy when you're the first to do something, especially when you're doing it in a compliant way. And just much respect, greatly appreciate you doing things this way, and excited too. Spain is not yet one I've traveled to. I did a Greek Isles cruise a few years ago. I was like, okay, next time I'm coming back, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going the other direction and hitting Barcelona and some others. So when I do make it over there, I would love to come visit and take a ride down that slide and see the rest of your operation there.
Yeah, of course, for sure.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks so much for your time today. I do appreciate it. I apologize for keeping you longer than intended, but really enjoyed the conversation and truly, really interested and intrigued about what you're building. Any closing thoughts or final words before we let you get out of here?
No, thank you for everything, and thank you for all the people for stay here. And anything else, if you want to ask me anything for free.
Awesome. Oh,
Don't
certainly
worry.
appreciate it. Again, those the BeToken and the Beself, I'm sorry, the BeToken and the BeToken global accounts, both those are pinned up top. Go give those a follow. Go show some support, even if you're not able or interested in participating in the pre-sale. I think this is the sort of more leaders like Albert and his team in crypto will go a long way towards pushing things forward and helping others consider alternatives to the traditional investment paths, be it IPOs, traditional equities, stock, etc. I know, Coinbase made their move with the ICO platform, and they've done Monad. They've talked about others. I do think that this some sort of combination of ICOs meets what Albert and team are building here, where the token represents more than just a speculative token based on brand or goodwill. This gets me really excited. And we've got comments in the chat like, okay, this is, we've been talking about a luxury boutique hotel in Costa Rica, and someone's like, how can I do this for this? How can I do what you're doing to help raise funds for a new venture? And while I think that could become a reality in the future, I think right now it's to get us to that point. It's probably going to take brands like Beself and that's established, right? You've got not just one company, but in this case, 5 that are a known thing. You do have history. You do have a customer base. It's not this concept might work. This might scale and actually generate real revenues. You're already doing the thing, and now you're giving your fans and supporters an opportunity to participate as well. And gets me excited. So truly appreciate you. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate all your time. And don't be a stranger. I'm not kidding. I'll hit you up when I'm in when I do make the trip to Spain, and would love to come visit the facility there.
For sure. Tell me something, please.
Awesome. Thanks again, Albert. Appreciate your time today. Have a great one. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Good luck with the rest of the pre-sale, and we will definitely be following along, and we'll provide everyone here an update as things move forward.